What's up everyone, it's Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com, and this guy in my hand is the brand new LG G3, just announced a couple weeks ago at the LG event in London and San Francisco, a couple other locations as well. But this is essentially the third flagship from LG. This is the second up to the LG G2, a device that we really loved here at PhoneDog.com. It did really well in the smartphone rankings. You guys loved it, and a lot of people still do love the LG G2 over the new flagships like the HTC One M8 and the Samsung Galaxy S5. But this is the updated LG G3. Tons of great stuff that's put inside of here, and one really great feature with a 2K display on the front. So let's actually start with that. It's a 5.5-inch display, and it's a 2K resolution. That means 2560 by 1440, or essentially the same resolution as in your 27-inch iMac. So essentially, you have a 27-inch iMac display and a compact 5.5-inch display, which means your resolution or your pixels per inch will be 538. That is crazy. Now, the resolution is odd, and you really can't take advantage of that other than just looking at how crisp the text is. And man, this is one of the best displays I've ever laid my hands or eyes onto. It's really crisp. The colors are super accurate, probably even more accurate than the HTC One, right up there, probably even surpassing the iPhone 5S in terms of color reproduction. But obviously, LG is a very good panel maker, so obviously they know how to make great displays like this. Now, in terms of hardware, we have a 2.5 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 801 chip, so essentially the same chip you find on the Samsung Galaxy S5, and we also have 3 whole gigabytes of RAM. Now, software-wise, it's going to be running Android 4.4.2 KitKat, which means it's going to be up to date to your software as of now anyway. Google I/O is a couple weeks from now, so perhaps 4.4.2 will not be the newest version of Android, but who knows? So yeah, here we have 4.4.2 KitKat, we have the little cave, KitKat, and look at that, we have the KitKat logo. And it's going to be running on top of the LG's UI, and they've done a couple redesigns to the UI. It's basically the same as last year on the G2 and even the G Flex. They just changed a bit of color, a bit of the way basically everything works. They've kind of redesigned the settings. We still have 2 settings icons in the notification tray, which kind of confuses me because this one's for the audio, and the other one is actually to take you to your real settings. Other than that, it's essentially the same LG UI we've seen before. We have the same Q-Slide applications you can activate or deactivate. I actually turned that off. And you can also do dual window by going into the multitasker and then just picking what application you want to run in the second window. Now let's take a quick look around for the phone here. Again, we have a 5.5-inch display, and one thing that I do like about LG and the way they did this is they basically eliminated almost all the bezel. The biggest bezel would be this one where it has the LG logo, and also obviously we have the earpiece and the front-facing camera on the front here. But on the sides, it's essentially all display, which is very attractive. It looks very good. Maybe the black one would look a little bit better since it would all match here. Now, thickness-wise, it's 8.9 millimeters, a little bit thinner than the HTC One, not as thin as the Samsung Galaxy S5 or the iPhone 5S. On the back, we still have the, iconic, or I guess trademarked buttons on the back. We have the volume up button, the volume down button. We also have the basically the power switch. We have a new 13-megapixel camera with OIS, which means you'll have OIS both in camera and video mode, so you can do 4K OIS video on top of this guy. We have a dual LED flash, which means you'll have that kind of night mode flash where it'll balance the light. And this little guy is a very interesting feature. It's actually a laser, which will be working in conjunction with the camera, which will actually help the autofocus. So this bounces a laser back to a subject, and it will get you the focus distancing of wherever the subject is, and it will focus the camera. Very cool feature. I've been using it for a little bit. You guys can see it's a really quick autofocusing system. We're probably going to have to do some tests with the Samsung Galaxy S5 and other phones that claim to have the world's fastest autofocus camera on their smartphones. Now, I can't talk about battery life, but they have managed to put a 3,000 milliamp hour battery inside this little tiny phone. I guess it's not really tiny, but it's still pretty thin, so that should give you decent battery life. Now, obviously, I'm going to be using it for the next couple of weeks, and I'll definitely give you guys a report back on how battery does. But so far, this is a great and fantastic phone to be using the past couple of days. It's really thin. It's definitely not the thinnest device in the world, but it feels really good in the hand. Kind of slippery, which is a little, I guess, nervesome, especially since you have this huge 5.5-inch display. Surface with really nothing protecting it. But it's been a fantastic phone so far. It's been a great device to use. Now, the display is probably the big selling point on the LG G3. It looks fantastic. Obviously, there's not really any native content that you can show on here. 1920 by 1080 is really the max resolution that's out there on the web. We do have 4K, but obviously this is not a 4K display. It's a 2K display. It's really a 2.5K display. So we're going to have to find some kind of great content to watch on the LG G3, or really we're not really using the display to its full potential. So let me know what you guys want to see else on the LG G3. We're going to have a 4K video test just because I want to test out the OIS on the video on the LG G3 coming very soon, probably tomorrow. So make sure to hit that subscribe button to get notified when we do upload that onto PhoneDog.com and YouTube.com/PhoneDog. So you can follow me on Twitter at PhoneDog_Marco. Ask me any questions you want to see about the LG G3, and I'll see you guys in the next video.